Okay, let me just see if I can find myself. Oh, the mic. Is it? Hi, Alta. I'm just trying to find myself quickly. There we go. There we go. There we go. That was quick. Right. Hello, everyone. Can't see who's here, but I see 5 people here. Hi, Debbie. Okay. I noticed that so many people, hi Elsaby. I noticed so many people have already started on the, Rachel, you found me. That was quick. You're getting used to it now, you see? So most people have already started, Heidi, started embellishing the outside. Hello, Kim. And I thought, hi, Leanne. I thought we could, hello, Haley. You can't find me on your laptop. Oh, no, I can't help you. I'm not very clued up. Hello, Carol. So I thought we could start on the album tonight and then embellish later, because people seem to find that the embellishing, I mean, you know, you all know how to embellish and layer papers and that. So let's work on the album tonight. Hello, Hazel. How are you? Hi, Marty. Oh, cool, Hailey. I'm so happy. Right, I'm going to put my phone into the holder. So I'm just going to flip the screen, put my mic in, and we'll put it in the holder. One moment. So it goes in like this. And that goes up. Right. I can't see what I'm doing. You see my feet? It's a good thing I got a dress on. Okay. Right. Hold on. We'll first give it a moment to settle in.
Don't move it now.
Oops.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. I think the screen is all good. Hi, Gordon.
Center.
Oh, that's center. Okay, jy maak my nou lekker slim. Okay, I'm just putting my comments on my iPad so I can see who's all there. Hi, Kiara. Hello, Mariette. Okay. Are we all ready to start? Can I have a thumbs up? Sophie, can you take this for me, please? I need to find my chair. Hello, Joyce. Okay, so I think a lot of people have already started on their album because the video is available on YouTube as to how to construct this this album. But I'm going to do it with you tonight. Oh, I wonder if I have enough tape on my roll. We're going to be using our bookbinding tape or our construction tape. Hi, Renee. Hello, Elsaby. Okay, so if you bought the kit, you should have received one of these in the kit. This was part of the kit. And it comprises of 2 chipboard covers, a spine, and 5-page inserts. Now, I gave Haley the dimensions, and I'm working from my phone, and the dimensions were on the phone. So, Haley, if you don't mind just posting it for those who do not have the kit, I can measure it quickly. Okay, so the spine is 2.5 by 8 1/4. Okay, and your cover is 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. You need 2, and then the inner pages are 8.5 by 8. Maybe I should write it down. Where's my pencil? So spine, double check, 2.5 by 8.25. 2.5 inches by 8.25. So that's the spine. I'll put it there. I hope you can see. The covers, I think it was 8.25 by 8.25. Yep. 8.25 inches by 8.25. So that's times 2. And then you need 5 times pages, 8 inches by 8.5 inches. Can you see that? Okay, now if you want to add extra pages to your album, because this is a 5-page album, I find that I'm happy with a 2.5 inch spine width. But if you're happy to go 3 inches, 4 inches, 5 inches and have a really fat spine, then by all means you can add additional pages. But I feel with my gaps that I have in between, let me just grab my album quickly. So that's the 2.5 inch spine, and I normally have that 1/2 inch gap here, and I find that this gap allows me for enough bulk. When I talk about bulk, I mean flaps and pockets and stuff. So 5 pages for me is sufficient, but if you feel you want to go bigger, you just add a 1/2 inch for every extra page. So for example, if you're going to go with a 3 inch spine, then you can add 6 pages. If you're going to go with a 3.5 inch spine, you can add 7 pages, etc. Does that make sense? Okay, so I think everybody's got the notes. If you need it again, just shout and I'll put it up. So what we are going to use for right now are our chipboard pieces, because we're going to assemble the cover and the...
If you make it fatter, will it still fit into the house?
No, if you make it fatter, it's not going to fit into the house. The house was designed for this particular album, okay? So if you want to do a fatter album, then you need to increase the dimensions of your base and of your side of your house. The rest of it will remain the same. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to, like I always do with all my projects, and I'm going to start with the spine because this is the part that I always forget, is I'm going to edge these pieces. Ooh, where's my scissor? Oh, I'll have to use my ugly one now. En daar ek het nou te kort gesny. Okay, that should be fine. So I'm going to edge the 2 short sides of my spine. Now I've had somebody mention to me that their double-sided tape and the glue, the Tombow glue, does not stick to this tape. This tape has got like almost like a waxy or an oily covering. So what I use is I use red tape, and then in addition to that I use glue. So that does help with adhesion. If you have a bigger problem with that, then I've recommended to other people to actually just sand this and roughen it up lightly. Not the section that you can see, the section where you're going to glue onto, just to give it more grip. I hope that makes sense. So we've got that covered. And then we're going to do 3 sides of your cover, because those 3 sides will be on the outside, and then this we will do a join. So we don't need to add any tape there. So we're going to do the 3 sides. And I'm going to sit now because I think I'm in shot. I can see on my iPad what I'm doing. So let's go. If you've done this already, you're going to have to watch us do it again. And when I'm cutting this off, I want to just check if I'm in shot. There's a slight delay on my iPad. I'm holding the tape up with my middle finger, just so that I can cut it off. Okay. And then you all know the story of the snip. So we will snip into those corners. We did the same snip with the house. Okay, and then I am going to miter the one end. I think it's easier for me to do it like that. I can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to miter the other side. Like that. Oh, and I can fold this one over in the meantime, then it's out of the way. I hope I'm in shot still. I'm trying to stay in shot. Not so good now. What's not so good? Sounds not so good. Oh. And now, is the sound better? I'll try and speak louder. Okay, so we've got that section, and now I'll just miter this little corner here. Is the sound better? Okay, if I stand, is it better? Debbie, this is my book binding or construction tape. The video keeps freezing. Does anyone else have a problem with the freezing video? Do you have a problem with freezing video? Okay, Hailey, sorry, I think it might be your connection.
And what tape is it again?
Yeah, I saw. It is, this is very similar to a gaffer tape that you would buy at the hardware, except that it has a fabric outer layer. So you can either get it from myself or you can use gaffer tape if you want. But gaffer tape is just it's very ugly, I think. I originally started out using gaffer tape as a construction. So there we go. That's the one side done. Is the sound better? Because I'm standing up now, so the mic is facing up. You got the tape? Okay, cool. Hi, Tersa. Right, where's the start? There we go. So we'll do the other one quickly. Oops. Slipped. Oh, that's very skew. And if you've never made an album like this before, you will actually be surprised at how quickly you can assemble an album once you get the hang of this. And I've done this album in 6x6. I've done it in a 12x12. And I've done it in a 8x8. I haven't done an A4, but I'm pretty sure it should work. I don't see why it shouldn't work. Okay, so I'm going to push the side down. Okay, I've gone a bit skew there. Just let me pull that back up. And that side. It's a bit more difficult to do this when I stand. Okay, there we go. All right, and now we are going to miter those two edges. That one. It's called my black construction or bookbinding tape. It's very sticky and you need a really good sharp scissors to work with it. Shafiq, can you just check on the dining room table? Is my orange scissor, man? Please. I used my orange scissor to cut tape to pack parcels today. Okay, so we've got those two. And I'm just gonna take my bone folder and just burnish all these edges. Thank you. Burnish this really well. And if you go skew at this point, it doesn't matter, because with your pattern paper, like here, I just left like a 1/8 of an inch border. You can decide how much of a border you want. So essentially, you're only going to see a little piece peeking out. And the reason why I do this is so that my album has a finish on the other side, instead of having to wrap the paper around the edges. I find it very tedious. So I feel that for me, this construction works so much quicker. Okay, the next step is to join the spine to the cover, and I normally use either my cutting mat or my scoreboard to give me that little bit of help to get it straight, because it's got a top edge, and I would push this up right up into that corner, and then push this one feels like it's a bit buckled, push this one right up to the top and leave that 1/4 inch gap there. So I'm using the lines on my scoreboard as a guide for me to see that I'm going straight. And you can do the same on your medium mat if you have one, or your normal craft cutting mats. That also has measurements on it. And as long as you use a straight line on the top, you should be good. So I'm going to put this down like this and try and make sure I'm straight. Flip it, and then I pull this piece up quite tight. Pull this down, and I snip that off a little bit before the end so that we hide that raw edge. Okay, and then we do the other side. Now, what I want to point out to you is I make this mistake every single time I do an album. This join here, we must always try and keep it on the inside of the album, because here we're going to cover with pages and stuff. And what I tend to do is I do it on that side. No, yeah, I do it. I start on the other side, and then I have the raw edge on the outside. So you want to try and keep the raw edges on the inside. So when you start the next one, flip the album over so that you're starting with the nice side here. Okay, so we got the join. Where's my join? There. We've got the join on the inside. So we're going to join it on the inside again. Does that make sense? Because every time, I know no one really notices it, but I see it. Okay, so we're going to do this again. Whoops. Sorry. Same 1/4 inch gap there. And that 1/4 inch gap just ensures that your book opens and closes nicely and easily. Okay. Flip. Ag nee, sit hy nou vas. Let me just do that again. Sorry, it got stuck to my board. Here we go. Flip. Yes. You know, I do this like a million times, and now I'm on a Facebook Live, and now it gives me trouble. How's that for Murphy's Law, hey? Okay, I just want to cut that piece off. I don't want that extra there. Pull tight. And then pull it straight. And snip. Okay, I'm going to snip that straight quickly because it's a little bit skew. I say, just as long as it's below that 1/4 inch line. Okay, and then we're going to burnish that. Let me just move my scoreboard out of the way. So when you burnish this, you don't want to dig too much into this, into the channel here, because then you might tear your tape. So very lightly burnish on the sides, because if you press too hard in here, you're going to tear your tape right down. I've done it already, so I know. Okay, so the beauty of this album is that it is so nice and flexible. It lies flat when you open and close it, so it doesn't gape. It doesn't gape when you're adding pages. It remains closed like that. Like that. It doesn't go like that when you add paper and stuff. Okay, so how was that for fast for assembling a cover? Was it quick enough for you? What's the time? How long are we on? I can't see any comments. Where's my comments? Hi, Helen. How are you? Okay, great. I see everybody's on board. So what we're going to do now is assemble our pages. And there is no hidden hinge or no, what you call that thing where you score, blah, blah, blah. It takes way too much time. So what I have are my pages. And remember, I said the pages are, let me just get the measurements here. You've got 5 pages measuring 8 inch by 8.5 inches. So that is the 8.5 inch side. And that's the 8 inch side. Okay. So on the 8.5 inch side, we are going to score at 1/2 inch. So whether you are comfortable scoring at that point, I just find it easier to work away from the corner, because here is a little bit tight. So, and I know this is 8.5 inches. So if I score on the 8 inch line, I've got a 1/2 inch gap there, and that's what we want. We want a 1/2 inch there. Does that make sense to everyone? So make sure you are scoring on the 8.5-inch side. We need a 1/2-inch score. So you can either score on the 1/2-inch line or on the 8-inch line, whichever one makes you comfortable. Hi, Marla. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, our 5 pages. Just move my scoreboard. And now we are going to fold the score line. And I know I repeat myself all the time about this, but there may be new people in the house. So when you're scoring, you've got the little area where you scored in that has a little ton of a channel. There we go. I hope you can see it. And then on the other side, it looks like a little bubble. So we always fold towards the bump or the bubble side. It just folds so much easier. And we're going to burnish there. So folding towards the bubble or the bump, whichever side, whichever way you want to refer to that. I always say the bubble, I don't know why. Or bumpy, the bumpy side, that makes more sense. So we do that with all 5 pages. And especially for black cardstock, I like to use this tool. This is a, I forgot what it's called. But it is the non-shiny. Does anybody remember what this is called? I've forgotten. You get a normal bone folder, but this is the one that doesn't leave a shine on your work. So look at that. You know, I am pressing quite hard and there's no shine. And I'm going to show you with just a normal you can see, I don't know if the shine comes up, but especially if you're working with something that this is going to be on the inside, so it doesn't really matter. But when it's on the outside of something, especially for cards, and you've got that little shiny mark there, it does look ugly. So I like that one. I know it's not a silicone, Teflon. Amberance, thank you. That's the word I'm looking for, a Teflon bone folder. So now we are going to add tape to our pages. And because this is a flexible hinge, it doesn't really matter which side you put it on. And if I didn't explain to you guys last time, when I put, especially double-sided tape, when I put it on, oh, I didn't say, I use red tape for all my construction. I don't use the white double-sided tape. It's a personal choice. I find that some of the double-sided tapes go yellow and age, and then they lose the stickiness. I've got some that I bought ages ago. It was probably from the Chinese store when I just started with card making. And there was no sticky on it anymore. In fact, I've got foam tape that has no sticky, so I just add glue to it because I'm still using it. But for construction, if you're putting expensive paper on these pages, you want your tape to last. So spend a little extra and use the red tape. The other thing I want to point out is when I'm putting tape onto large areas, I hold the tape down with my finger on the one side and I pull this quite, not too tight, but I pull it tight so that it's straight. And I hold it like this just to make sure with my thumb, I guide it with my thumb. Can you see that? So that I can decide where it's going to go. Not there. I want it there. Does that help anyone at all? because I've been to classes and I see how people do double-sided tape. And they do that. And then before you know it, you're like halfway skew on the page. So I use my fingers to guide the tape so that it doesn't go skew. Hi, Teresa. You can always catch up, Teresa. Okay, bone folder. So we are going to burnish all these pages, all the tape. And with red tape, you can see that the color of the tape changes when you burnish it. I don't know if the camera picks it up. Let me see, my feed on my iPad is a little bit delayed.
Are you putting it on the bubble side?
You can put it on any side, doesn't matter. But normally I put it on the dented side. I think you can see that there is a difference once you've burnished. Okay, so we've got all our pages burnished. And now we need to put it into our album. Now here you've got two choices. You can actually put a piece of black cardstock inside here to make sure that you're covering the whole spine. I just stick mine really close to each other so that you don't see the gray underneath. Now the choice is yours. You can start with your flap going that, with your what do you call this thing, your score line facing the left hand side, which means you will have your first page have like a large gap here, so you'll have 1/2 inch gap on your opening page. And in fact, I did that with my Lady Vagabond album, because on my first page I had quite a bit of things going on. I had a pocket and I had a flap going up and to the side, so I wanted that big gap there. Having said that, if you want your back page, your back cover to have the bulk, then you can still put your paper in like that, except that when you're done with the album, just flip it over and use the other side. Does that make sense? I'll show you when I'm done. Okay, so these pages are inserted very similarly to a waterfall. Okay, and what I normally do is I use a mixture of glue and tape, because I'm not famous for sticking straight. Where's my glue? Yeah. So you can use whatever glue you have. And I hope my Tombow is going to come out now. Oh, by the way, ladies, the extra strong glue from Stamperia is back in stock. We are going to finalize our order pretty soon. If you want the white glamour gel or the extra strong glue from Stamperia, which is, where is it? It is this one. Please message me after the class so that I can add yours to our order. So I'm going to turn my album around. Shafiq, just 1 minute. No, you want to talk to me. So that I can place this in. And this is where you can either measure and be pedantic, or be like me and just eyeball it. So making sure that your page is centered here and here. Does that make sense? Auntie Nabi, the gap between the covers here is a 1/4 inch. Okay, so we've got that one down. There we go. And when we're done, you can burnish, or you can burnish in between. So I've got that one down. Page number 2. The trick here, ladies, is to make sure that your pages are nicely aligned with each other. So, say again?
What is the price of the stamper here?
The Stamperia glue, I think, is $2.80 for a bottle. I think so. I will double check for you. I can't remember offhand. So, why does this one look so a little bit bigger than the others? Oh no, I'm seeing skew. Okay, so the next one's going to go there. And if you want, you can actually do your pages like this. Pull out the tape a little way. Line up the one side. Secure that piece. And then just pull it out. Okay. So there we go. 2 pages in. Page number 3. I hope you can see. I'm trying to do it standing, so let's see. This red tape is so sticky, it sticks to everything. So I'm going to put that down, and then what you can also do is pull this down just to make sure that it is aligned. And glue. So we got 3 pages in. It looks like mine is going a bit skew. And the 4th page. And the last page. There we go. So these all our pages in. And that is the album construction. So I don't know about you, but I find that this is one of the quickest ways of putting an album together. Where's my bin? It works really well. So you've got your pages with your 1/2-inch gaps in between. All done. And now you can decide how you're going to have it. So if you want the front page to have that big gap there, you use it that way. If you want your back page to have the big gap, you use it that way. I mean, sorry, if you want your front page, you use it like this. If you want the back page, the opposite way. So it depends where you want to add your bulk to. So, are there any questions? Where's everybody? Ja, dit is baie gou. The thickness of my chipboard, Kim, is 200 and... It's a 2mm chipboard, so it's quite thick. Do I have a little sample? Yeah, I don't, unfortunately. I do. So that's more or less the thickness of the chipboard. So it's quite a thick one. It's quite sturdy. And then the inner pages, those are 250 gram weight. Yeah, that's quick, man. Cool. So what I thought we could do, seeing that, I wonder how long we've been on. I don't know what the time is. So I thought we could start with page 1 because basically that is page 1. If you look at it, that's page 1. And on page 1, we've got this little gatefold here. And on the other side of page 1, we've got that long piece that runs out like that. And then we also have a flap up pocket here. So I thought we could concentrate on page 1. It's only 9:10. Yes, great. Oh, 45 minutes. We're doing so well. So I didn't prep anything because I wasn't sure how quick this was going to go. So let's see. I'm going to show you how I measure now. So this flap is 4.5 by, let me just check, by 8 inches. So we need 2 of those for the first page. 4.5, let me write it down. So front flap. Page 1. You need to cut 2 by 4.5 inches by 8 inches. Okay, so that's that. I've got my trimmer here. So I'm going to get it. Just clearing the decks quickly. So we've got some space to work. Okay. Alright, so this is your standard A4 sheet. So we all know that we need an 8-inch piece, and we need a 4.5. What did I say? 4.5. Where is it? Yeah. We need 2 pieces, which is 4.5 by 8 inches. Now your standard A4 sheet is 8.25. So I'm just going to trim a small piece off that to make it 8 inches, because then I can get both of those flaps out of one sheet of A4, because we need 4.5 and 4.5, which is 9, and we'll just have that small strip left on the end. Does that make sense? So the first flap, you're using one sheet of A4. So what did I say? 8 inches. So I'm trimming that off. So you see, we're just getting rid of that 1/4 inch piece there. And I'll save that for you know who. I've got someone that uses all my scraps, all my strips. So what did I say? 4.5, eh? Is that 4.5? Yes. So we're cutting 4.5. And 4.5. So we've got those 2 pieces. Unfortunately, this is going to be an up and down story of trimmer, score tool, trimmer, score tool. But I don't want to go too many steps ahead in case people miss out on direction. So we're scoring 1/2 inch on either one on the 4.5 inch side. And you can put your tape on. So we're putting tape on the dented side, the side where you scored. Just use the scissors sharper. And I'm a sucker for scissors, eh? So I've got like scissors all over the place. I love scissors. Strange phobia of, what do they call that? An addiction. I've got an addiction to scissors, stationery. So I'm burnishing that. I always burnish all my tapes to make sure that it's stuck really well. And oh, I didn't burnish this. I didn't fold over on the bubble, on the bump.
Score at what measure?
Score at 1/2 inch. I just do it at the far end because I find it easier for myself. So as long as you have 1/2 inch score there. So that's 1/2 inch. Okay, and then the one is going to go on the one side of your page, and the other one is going to go on the other side of your page like that. And now we're busy with black. So what I normally do, let me just see if I have a white sheet of something here. I'll just use a piece of card. What I normally do when I'm working with black on black, it's very difficult to see where the line ends. So I put a sheet of white something underneath so I can see the clear definition of the outside line. Otherwise, I stick so skew. So this is where I'm going to use glue as well, because I need that wriggle room. I'm a bit of a skew sticker, so I need the glue. And Mr. Tombo doesn't want to come out now.
Does the black tape come in colors?
The black tape only comes in black and an off-white color. Sorry, let me just move my scarf out of the way. So we need to stick this. Oh, this is so hard with the camera halfway in the middle of my. There we go. So the one is down. And we're going to do the other side. Now I flip and turn and whatever my pages so that I can see what I'm doing. It just makes it easier for me. I've used the white. I don't know if any of you saw the little bag I made, which we probably can do on one of the evenings. It's really a cool project, a little handbag with an album inside. And I use the white there, but I find that, you know, it gets dirty so quickly, the white tape, man. Even the white pages. So I'm partial to using the black or craft. Okay, so we've got our first flappy page in. And then you'll flip your page because the next one goes on the other side of that same page. Okay, so I need to measure that quickly. My bin has disappeared, so I'm going to have to sweep after this. I'm throwing everything on the floor. And I keep all these strips like this, for example. I might need it for a belly band or something, so I keep all those little bits. So, the next page, this is like a concertina page. So, if I just move the album like this, you can see it's got score lines here. And basically, this is just 2 A4 sheets that was cut down to 8 inches widthwise, that way, and then just scored. So let's see where the score lines need to be. So that is, did I cut this down? That's 11.5. So we scored at 1/2 inch and 6 inches. So 1/2 inch and 6 inches. And I just want to double check this one as well before I give you wrong measurements. And that one is scored on 6 1/8. Okay, let me double check. Half and 6. Okay, let me write this down for you. What the, oh, there's my pencil. Okay, so page 1. What shall I call this? Inside flap, maybe. Does that make sense? Page 1, inside flap. Okay, so we need 2 times A4 sheets, and then you're going to cut that down to 8 inches by 11 1/4. I think that I kept the length of the page. Let's see, 11 3/4, sorry. So I didn't cut anything off the length of the A4. Where's my A4? So we need 2 of these, and let me just double check the measurement so everybody can see. So I kept the full length of the A4 sheet. I trimmed it down to 8 inches, so we're cutting off 1/4 inch there, and then on the first one we're scoring it at 1/2 inch and on 6 inches. So score 1 at 1/2 inch and 6 inches. Right, I'm putting it there. I hope you can see it. And then part 2 of the flap, you're cutting your page to 8 inches by 11 3/4, which is the same length of the page. Let me double check before I give you wrong measurements. Yep. And we're scoring at 1/2 inch and 6 1/8. So don't cut or score anything. Let me first do mine. We'll first see if it works, and then you can follow afterwards. I just want to double check my measurements, because what do they say? Measure twice, cut once. Yep, that looks about right. So let's do this. Oops. Trimmer out. So we know we need to cut both down to 8 inches. That's there. That's the one. And the other one. So we've got the cutting done. And then we're scoring. So first one, score at 1/2 inch and at 6. Second one, score at 1/2 inch, and I think it's 6 1/8. So we'll soon find out if I'm right. I'm adding tape to the dented side. And I wish we can get that nice tape that they use in the States. What's it called? I watch people with so much envy where they can just score tape. They just peel and tear, peel and tear. Works so cool. So let me just get my sample back so I can show you what's going on. So this one, which is this one here, fits onto the inside of your page, and then this score line here gets added to that piece there. And that's where your concertina will happen. So let's do that for you so you can see. I just want to check if I scored on the right place. Because you know, this album I made November last year. I can't remember anymore. Looks about right. So this, putting tape on the second piece now. Another question.
What's the size of the scoring, and we can define that the tape.
The red tape, you should be able to get it from any of your local scrapbook stores. It's called red liner tape or sticky tape. If you can't find it, let me know and I'm happy to ship out to you, or you can collect from me if you're in Cape Town. And if you're not sure where to find, just let me know where you are located and I can possibly refer you to someone in your area. So, let's see now. What did I say? That one. This one goes onto my page. So this is how I speak to myself when I make an album. That one goes onto my page. This one goes onto here. Like that. So I'm going to glue that one down. I'm going to be brave and do it without glue. I hope it works. So you need to, when you're doing this, you need to stick it down next to your score line. And the reason for that is if you stick it on the score line, the score is not going to fold nicely. So you need to stick it next to your score line. Traffic, you're running a sprint every 5 minutes.
Peel and tear tape, like you build
Score
later.
pal, yeah, score tape.
That's what people have.
No, we don't get it here. You can import it from, I'm going to go with glue, guys. I feel like I'm going to stick skew. The score tape, we get a version of it here, but it is not, it's not the same thing. It's really not the same thing. So that's why I use the red tape. But score tape is quite expensive for us to import. Okay. So we've got that joined together like that. And so this piece is going to stick down on your page. This one folds back. And then I'm just going to fold it this way because of the bubble. But it actually goes like that. So that is your flap. Do I need to do that again? And you'll see why I scored it on the 6 1/8 mark is so that it just lines up nicely with that. Otherwise, sometimes it just doesn't work. So that's how your flappy goes. And now that goes into your album. And I want to show you on the sample, because we've got a little gap there. This goes on the outside edge. And I haven't got any pattern paper in here yet, so you can still see the join there. Okay. Does that make sense? So maybe what we should do is just do these flaps before we glue that one in. So the second flap, let's measure it quickly. Does everybody have these measurements? Can I put this away? So we've got the inside flap, which is the left flap, inside left flap. Page 1, inside left flap. So we're talking about the flap that comes. That's page 1, outside flaps. We've done that. This is page 2, inside left flap. You need 2 pieces, 2 A4 sheets. The first one is cut 8 by 11 and 3. Oh, well, they're both cut 8 by 11 3/4. The first one you're scoring at 1/2 inch and at 6 inches. And the second part of the flap you're scoring at 1/2 inch and 6 1/8 inch to get that extra fold. And then you're putting tape on both score lines so that you've got that. Okay? Are we all good with that? Hello, Melanie. So, now the inside flaps. And this one, I specifically left that gap there. Partly, I'm guessing, because I can't remember, I didn't want to use more paper. I was very stingy with my paper because the paper's not cheap, so we have to make it go as far as possible. And as I was doing this, I realized that instead of sticking another sheet of paper here, I can put 2 small photographs there, which will be perfect. It's optional, up to you, if you want to fill the whole page with designer paper. If you're buying the 8 by 8 pack, you should have enough paper. If you have both the 8 by 8 and the 12, you should have enough paper to fill this whole thing. But I like the fact that you can, there's like continuation of the paper like that. And pop open. Wow, there's a photo. So, let's measure this one. So this one is 6 1/8. So you can make it about 6 1/4 plus, so that's 6 3/4. Oh, I'm talking to myself. 6 3/4. I just want to lift this so I can see the measurement properly. By 7. So, inside flap number 2, top flap, cut it to, maybe I shouldn't write the number 2. Oh, my erasers disappear. Oh, yes, it. Just now people think they must cut 2. Cut 2. What did I say? 6 3/4, eh? Yeah. 6 3/4 by 7 inches. I'm going to put that there. And then your second piece, light is terrible here. 5. Why is this one 7 1/4? Then they both must be 7 1/4. Yes, it's 7 1/4. Sorry. So this one I said was 5. So bottom flap, 5 inches by 7 1/4 inches, and score 1/2 inch on the 7 1/4 inch side. Sorry, I lie. My apologies. On the 5 inch side. Same with that. Score 1/2 inch on the 6 3/4 side. Okay, let's do that quickly. I'm going to put this here so you can see it. Cutter.
Did you add the top score
I did.
Oh, you did.
I did. Thank you for the reminder. Okay, so the first one is 6 3/4 by 7 1/4. So that is 6 3/4 by 7 1/4. And then the other one, what did I say, was 5 inches. So we can't use that one. We keep that for another one. Five inches by 7 1/4. Okay. Where's the measurements? That's it. Right, here's my scoreboard. And then once we've done this, I think we can carry on to the next page next week. So we're on the 7 1/4 inch. So let me just think quickly. Yes, half an inch there. So that goes on top. And then, so that was, just let me go over it again. So on the 6 3/4 side, we're scoring half an inch. And we're scoring on the 5 inch side, half an inch. Okay. And then we're going to, oh, it's so hot in my room tonight. Gee whiz, it's really hot. We're going to put tape down. On both pieces. On the dented side. And I have a habit of pushing that tape back down because you know what has happened to me in the past? The tape gets stuck on everything. I damage my pages. It just makes sense to close it up. Okay, so let me just move this out of the way. So we've got the gatefold here, paging over. This one comes at the top, and this one is going to come at the bottom, like that. So we need to fold towards the bubble, burnish. And this is a very important part of your album, that we score and burnish these lines really well. Because if you don't, then this flap is not going to lie nice and flat. Okay, so this is, you have to do this. You must. It's imperative. So I burnish it that side, and then I turn it over and I burnish it on the other side as well, just so that it lies nice and flat. So I'm going to put these flaps a little bit towards the right side. And where's my sample so I can show you? You can see here, it's a little bit towards the right hand side because we're making space for that to come on there. Right? Makes sense? And I've just left like 1/8 of an inch gap so that it's not tight up against this score line here. This one here. Because then if we start moving towards, too tight towards this score line, then your pages are not going to open and close freely. Then you're going to have a whole story of this page in particular, not wanting to close. And you can see how nicely it opens and closes. So you need to leave a gap between that and that thing and that flap. Does that make sense? So, where's my white card? So once again, I'm putting the white card in so I can see where my line is. And I hope there's still glue in the Tombow bottle, because I cannot stress enough how many times I stick skew. Okay, now my camera is right in the middle of nowhere land. Okay, I think my one page on the other side is a bit skew there. And then the other one. So I'm going to turn this around because it's a little bit easier for me to work like that. And this one, I'm kind of eyeballing the line up. And here, I hope I'm going straight. Okay, so we've got that flap there, and now our other one goes over there. So let's see. I need to stick it down that way. So that one goes right on the edge there, like that. Cut my nail, so this tape is just so hard to get off. You know, I haven't needed to shift things yet, but I promise you, the moment I don't put the glue on, then it's going to give me grief. And this thing is going to stick where I don't want it to stick. Okay. So. And that's our flap. So this goes down, that goes down, that goes there. Where's my scoring tool? And now I just reinforce all those score lines so that it knows its place. You give your paper the memory. Okay. Ta-da! And that's it. So, next week we will carry on, and I'll have my measurements ready next week. I wasn't sure whether we were going to do it or not, and honestly today was just crazy. So next week we will do the waterfall. I'm pretty sure most of you have done a waterfall before, but we will do the waterfall, and we could possibly do the inside pockets, and then maybe one or two of these pages as well. Hi, Salam Jalila. We missed you. You're going to have to watch the rerun. Okay, so is everybody on the same page? Do we understand where we're at? Do you have any questions? Hi, Janine. I'm just going to get my camera out of the holder. Shafiq, do you think you can help me? Oh, this thing is so tight. Okay, I got it. Okay. So, I'm here already. I got it. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? Hi, Yvette. Hi, Tony. No questions? A side pocket. Okay, we will go through one of those. I'm pretty sure I have a side pocket in there, I think. We will do pockets as well. The Glamour Gel is 165 Rand. And the glue, I speak under correction, I think it is 285. You'll have to watch it again. Okay, Elise, you know you have my number. You can always message me if you have any questions. No questions? Oh, shame, Yvette, you can catch up. That's why I try not to do too much. You guys have homework. Hi, Anne. You have to watch the rerun. So, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to message me on Facebook. Oh, shame, Annika. You can watch the rerun. And so if you have any questions at all, what I will do is after this whole thing is over, I'll make like a list of notes that we can put into the as a file under the file section of the page, so you can access it in case you need to do another one. Thanks, Alta. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, Donkey. I got an early date with Karen tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. Karen, are you still there? I'll see you tomorrow. Inshallah, Jalila. So, ladies, thank you so much. I don't see any questions coming up. I think you can only... Okay. Marla, any place, I'll check in Durban. I think you're in Durban, eh? I'll check who has it. Good night, Elise. You're welcome. Price of... Deborah, price of... I'm trying to see price of what Deborah's waiting for. Sorry, I must have missed your other comments. You're welcome, Joyce. Joyce is very far ahead of all of us. She's done pattern paper on her outside cover already. And Alta, they're both ahead of us. Pleasure, Hailey. I hope you enjoyed it. Night, night, Mariette. You're welcome, Hazel. So, okay, I don't know. Sandy might have tape. Okay, great stuff. Thanks, Yvette. So Marla checked with Sandy. If you don't come right, you have my number. You can always message me. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Remember, we're back at 8:30 next week, Wednesday. It's a date every Wednesday. Thanks, Patricia. And please message me if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer. The price of the glue and the Glamour Gel. The Glamour Gel is 165. We have an order of... We're busy placing an order for the glue and the Glamour Gel. Oh, and the vintage paste from Adonis. If you haven't used it yet, that stuff is awesome. It's not cheap, but it will last you a long time. So if that's something that's been on your wish list, let me know, because that has been out of stock from November or September last year. I've been waiting for it to come into stock. So those are the 3 items that's coming in besides the other papers and stuff. And if you haven't seen the new Passion, the Romance, the Journal collection, the Amazonia, there's quite a few new things coming in March, end of March, so it should be a mid-April. Hi, Dinesh. And Dinesh's things is coming. He's promised he's going to ship my parcel on Friday. Lots and lots of new iCraft stuff. Tomorrow, Dinesh, is it coming? Is it leaving tomorrow? I'm putting you on the spot there. I saw 4 boxes ready. He sent me a photograph of 4 boxes. The price of the glue, I think, is $2.85. So we're getting in the new stock of the blending brushes. Those brushes are pretty awesome. I couldn't use them on any of my Facebook Lives. Hi, Joe. Because there was no stock in India and it's back, so I can use them again. Yay, I'm so excited because they work like a dream. I love them. So if you want those blending brushes, let me know. And there's lots of new iCraft albums coming, pre-made albums, which is awesome. I can't wait to get hold of them. And some new paper coming, new chippies, new stencils. So watch the space. We're probably going to have like a reveal video. But that's it from me, ladies. Have a good night. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you next week, Wednesday. Until then, see you in cyberspace. Bye now.